And now on to the obligatory advice. First piece of advice, wear sunscreen. Indeed, if I could offer you only one tip for the future, sunscreen would be it. The long-term benefits of sunscreen have been proved by scientists, whereas the rest of my advice today has no basis more reliable than my own meandering experience. Now, you may recognize this advice as a direct quotation from Kurt Vonnegut's famous 1997 commencement speech at MIT. The speech was famous for two reasons. First, it was chock full of affable wisdom, and second, it was a hoax. Kurt Vonnegut did not deliver the commencement speech at MIT in 1997. Vonnegut's supposed speech was actually a newspaper column published in June of that year in the Chicago Tribune by writer Mary Schmish. Someone spread the story by email that the column was actually a speech by Vonnegut. By August of 1997, the rumor had gained such acceptance that the New York Times ran a story debunking it. This article seemed to put the rumor to rest, but it resurfaced 5 years later as a claim that Vonnegut had just given the speech at the 2002 MIT commencement. I find this hoax interesting on several levels, one of which is the wisdom of President Reagan's trust but verify approach. It also reminds us of how quickly the world changes. How many of you got that one right? Not long ago, when the world was less connected and broadly available information had to make its way past editors, it would have been unimaginable that a story like this, so easy to falsify, could travel so widely and so quickly. Indeed, only a few years ago, the text-based competition we are currently engaged in would have been impossible instead of merely being inadvisable. Change is not a bad thing. Those of you graduating into what is undoubtedly the worst employment market in law in our lifetimes will eagerly welcome certain change, and it will doubtless come. But the fact that the world changes and that the skills demanded of lawyers will also change can cause needless anxiety among graduates. The creator of Dilbert, Scott Adams, may be largely correct that predicting the future is a hopeless undertaking. But that should not trouble you. I continually meet alumni with very successful practices who tell me that when they graduated from law school, they had no idea that they would end up what they are doing today. This is true in part because the world changes. Their success is in part because a good legal education prepares you to adapt to changing circumstances. And you have had a first-rate education, surrounded by talented colleagues and taught by a faculty that is expert, accomplished, and in some cases, at least passably telegenic, although bad dancers. So you should not worry too much about the possibility of a career false start. Another reason that predicting your future is hard is the difficulty of predicting what you will value as your career progresses. Ultimately, you decide for yourself what you will regard as a successful career. There are many ways to measure success: possessions, fame, intellectual stimulation, the discovery of truth, relationships, helping others. You will decide for yourself the mix of outcomes that will satisfy you. But what you think now might well change as you learn more about career options by living some and observing others. So your challenge is different from the one that faced President Reagan when he thought about the Soviet Union. You will receive advice from many people, including people you trust. But there is really no way completely to verify their advice from your current vantage. So if you sometimes feel uncertain, view that not as a weakness, but as an appreciation that you occupy the same position that so many others have occupied before, and that you are just as likely to come out well on the other end as they have. I close with a final quotation from Kurt Vonnegut's famous 1997 and 2002 commencement addresses at MIT. He said, and I quote, "Be careful whose advice you buy, but be patient with those who supply it," end quote. People will give you advice for many reasons, but a big reason is that they care about your well-being. That is certainly true of your law school. Our future is inextricably intertwined with yours, and your progress reaffirms for all of us that we are engaged in a worthy endeavor. We hope you will continue to feel connected to USD wherever your careers may take you, as we will continue to feel connected to you. Congratulations, good luck, and thank you for the opportunity to help prepare you for the changes ahead.